Hello, welcome to Off the Shelf Reviews.
I once was in the front row of a DJ Marshmallow concert on Fortnite.
And I'm Gary. And today we're going to review and discuss Sorcerer, which came out in 1977, directed by William Friedkin. Ian, why don't you give us the synopsis?
Well, the story follows 4 different characters. Each one of the characters has been involved in a certain situation in their life and has gone into hiding into a small village in South America. While hiding in this village, a local oil well has exploded and they have been tasked with delivering unstable explosives to the oil well 200 miles away. We then follow these 4 gentlemen as they try to get the explosives there.
After the success of The French Connection, and of course The Exorcist, which is just one of those movies that I think is just universally known. Almost everyone is aware of The Exorcist, even if you're a fan of film or not.
Yeah.
This pretty much gave William Friedkin creative control to tell the studios that he was off to go make a film, and they would just throw money at him. This was one of those rare instances where Paramount Pictures and Universal Studios were like, look, William Friedkin's going to make us money. Yeah. Let's work together to pool some money. This is one of those instances.
Like Towering Inferno.
Where 2 studios got together to put this, to finance this film. And what a disaster that turned out to be. William Friedkin... this is a forgotten film. It really is. It has had a resurgence now that it's been re-released into cinemas and onto Blu-ray.
Yeah.
But this was a forgotten film, and it was massively overshadowed by the fact that when they released this film, there'd been some difficulties between Friedkin and the 2 studios.
Right, yeah.
Where producers were fired, cinematographers were fired, more than half the cast and crew were replaced, either due to them suffering from malaria, food poisoning, or whether they had disagreements on the set. William Friedkin went on to say that Roy Scheider was not his first choice for an actor. He wanted Clint Eastwood. He wanted Jack Nicholson. Yeah. He had a list, and so he said that his cast were his 5th and 6th choices for this film.
That's harsh.
He was heartbroken. Yeah. That, no one wanted to do it. He wanted Steve McQueen. He wanted Paul Newman.
Well, no, I think it's harsh. He was looking for big names and didn't give the credit to the lower level guys that kind of made the film.
Because of the story that this film was, he wanted an anchor. He wanted that A-list celebrity name that would help push the film. Because going with someone like Roy Scheider, who had success with Jaws, he wasn't the face of an actor that brought people into the theater.
Yeah.
And so when this film came out, only a select few people went to see it because the studios were so unsatisfied with William Friedkin. They didn't put any money into promoting it. I've read stories that a few people that were at theaters at the time of the film's release. There was posters up explaining that this isn't a foreign film because there were some people walking out of the cinema during the first sequences because it's subtitled. And people were like, "What is this? This is not from the same director as The Exorcist. I'm out of here. I'm gonna go and watch Star Wars."
kind of weird to say that though, because the beginning of Sorcerer kind of reminds me of the beginning of The Exorcist. In this foreign country, like we all know The Exorcist. It's in the girl's bedroom. There's a demon. Oh, it's real scary. But when you put that film on and you're in the desert with Max von Sydow, sometimes I go, "Am I watching The Exorcist?"
Right. This is about a little girl being possessed.
Yeah. Where the fuck is this come from? We watched the opening sequence where it's in this Spanish city, and there is no dialogue mainly between the 2 actors. You just have a guy in a hotel room, and another well-dressed man walks into the room, pulls out a silenced pistol and shoots him, and walks off. That's just the beginning of this film, and you're probably sitting there going, well, what the fuck has that got to do with the rest of what's going on? It's William Friedkin. He took the story for The Wages of Fear from 1953 and decided to remake it, but he wanted to make it his own. And so the beginning of Sorcerer starts setting up 4 different characters. You've got Nilo, the hitman that we saw at the beginning. He won't turn up until later on, but he's the first guy you primarily see. So immediately when I first saw him, I was like, is this the main guy? No, it's Roy Scheider. Roy Scheider's the main guy. Where the fuck's he?
Well, William Friedkin wanted it to be that you didn't really know who the main guy was. I guess
no, that's
you kind of You know, Roy Scheider is the most recognisable face in the cast.
Yeah.
So I guess you would go
Well, I mean,
main character.
for me, interestingly, long before this film was requested, I'd seen that it was advertised late on Film 4. And the title was the first thing that caught my mind. You know, Sorcerer. I'm like, oh, magic. It's going to be about wizards and shit.
Well, yeah, it kind of is.
No.
The Cruel Wizards of Fate is what the title is actually a reference to.
Right, okay. It's got no magic in it, motherfuckers, okay? This ain't no Harry Potter shit.
This film is magic.
You know, the only thing that has Sorcerer in this film is the truck. That's it, and you barely see that. But immediately I saw the title and I thought, what's this? So I wikied it and I caught the idea, and I really loved the fact that Roy Scheider was in it, and there were these other great actors in it as well. It was a remake, it was a readaptation, I suppose you could say, for The Wages of Fear, which I've always wanted to watch after the first time reading about it in an Empire magazine, about these 4 guys who have to take this perilous journey of explosives to this oil well. You know, I think that movie's in black and white and doesn't have as many tense sequences as Sorcerer does. But the same thing applies to Sorcerer. You know, we have Nilo, the hitman, at the beginning. We then are introduced to Qasim in Jerusalem with his terrorist buddies, I suppose. That's a really tense sequence.
Yes.
Fucking well done.
It was one of those, you know, they did the explosion and everything, and believe it or not, there was an actual terrorist bombing.
I looked at it on that screen.
Within the same sort of few days that they filmed that sequence, and because William Friedkin was then privy to seeing a real terrorist attack, he was like, oh wow, this is what happens afterwards.
Yeah.
And so he was like, we're going to go and film some additional sequences because he's just witnessed a real life attack.
The cops start rushing through the streets. They know where the people are, and they break into the apartment where the terrorists are, and they kill a couple, and then they arrest one guy. But we see our main guy, Qasim. He's left in the crowd, and he's off.
Manages to escape and flee the country.
Yeah, he does. We then cut to Victor Serrano, who's a French banker, and he is living the life of luxury with his wife, you know, in his hotel. But he looked, when you first see him standing there, to me it kind of looked like he was anxious. He was pacing the room.
Yeah.
There was something up. And then when he gets called into the bank or the place where he's working, they explain to him that, you know, they've got evidence of fraud.
He's desperate. He keeps telling his
accomplice or brother-in-law, I suppose.
Yeah, like, call him, like, fix it.
Call your dad. Yeah, well, I want you to fix. And the guy's just like, I can't. He won't. We're in trouble. This is shit. And Serrano does not want to give up that position of power that he's managed to get. But then watching his buddy commit suicide in his car, Serrano knows that the game is up, and he just runs.
He flees the country.
Down the fucking street, and he flees the country as well. And then it cuts to New Jersey. Now this, before I watched the film, this was the sequence I caught late one night on Film 4, when I was actually looking into Sorcerer.
I just want to say that when this film was originally finished and released, there was 2 versions. The one for America and one for Europe.
Yeah.
And it's because the European Film Union, I guess, when they looked at this film, they just went, this isn't going to work. So let's take that out, and take that out, and take that out. And then let's put it in over here, and chuck that in over there, and take that 30 minutes and bin it. They cut the film down, and they interspersed these prologues into the film as flashbacks. So that as you were introduced to each character, then you would find out what happened to them that brought them to where they are.
No, you need to know at the beginning.
I've not seen that version, but I can't imagine. Like, maybe it would start with the New Jersey setting with Roy.
Well, that was it. Like I said, before I actually sat down and watched the film, I was flicking through TV one night, and I come across a robbery. Now, obviously, understanding it from the film, seeing the film, you have Roy Scheider and his kind of mafia crew. They break into this church, which is a front for money laundering. Love the wedding sequence. Love the fact that the wife's got a
There's so many
eye.
little details to things like that, and it's I mean, that couple, nothing to do with the film, but it's just a little bit of detail as to how corrupt this church is.
Yeah, the William Friedkin. I absolutely love the universe he created in this movie, because there's all this stuff going on in the background that you see for a couple of seconds. You're like, what's that? And the film's gone. The camera's like, no, over here. And you're like, yeah, but no, over here. And you're like, oh, fine, okay then. Well, I want to know. And you follow, obviously, Roy Scheider and his crew into the back room, and they rob the people who are in control of the money.
But not the change.
Oh, yeah, not the change, yeah.
What God has joined, man must not divide.
Oh, leave the change alone.
And they shoot the priest. They injure him. But he's the brother of a local mafia boss. And it's such a brilliant section where the gang members all jump into the car and they're driving down, and Brody is at the wheel of the car. Obviously, for me, I saw this as... This is before he joined the police force with Gene Hackman, before he took too much heroin and had to quit, and before he had to fight a shark. And then after that, he had to design a deep sea vehicle. So this is what Roy Scheider did with his life. You know, and his buddy, they get into argument in the car. One of them pulls a gun out and puts it to the back of the guy's head. And when they're fighting, they crash into a truck. And the crash, oh my God.
Yeah, this is one of those, filmmaking moments.
Yeah.
It just happened, and you look at it and go, wow, that looks like a real crash. When you see the bodies coming out of the windows,
Yeah.
just bloody messes afterwards, you're like, wow, that was intense. That was really well captured.
Yeah.
And there was problems on the set, of course, whilst trying to do this sequence.
Right.
It cost them like 7 or 8 vehicles, because every time they did the stunt, William Friedkin would just look at it and go, it didn't work. Get another car, set it up, we're going to do it again.
Fucking hell.
And again, and again, and again. And they just could not get it right. To the way that William Friedkin imagined it.
Yeah.
And so, they had to call in this professional stuntman who came in, looked at what he wanted, and then went and did it first time for him. It was a few cases of that happening throughout the film.
Yeah. Like I said, but watching it late at night, having no idea what this film was or anything, seeing Roy Scheider run down that road, bloodied up.
Yeah.
I was sat there thinking to myself, what the fuck's going on? And yet, watching it for the review, all of the vignettes have set up, and now I know that he has to get away because the mafia boss wants him dead. So then we cut to the small South American village, and you have Kasim there. He's made friends with a guy called Marquez who lives in the town. Now, Marquez, you don't know anything about. You're not told anything. And I don't know if it's weirdly enough, some people would say that's a problem, because you need to know the background of everything, all the different layers of the film. And yet some films, you don't need it. Like, I saw that Marquez there, and I wikied the shit out of this movie. I was looking for all it, and I got a few sparse details in which I was told. And the film gives me even less.
Oh, yeah.
And then he's gone, and I was like, oh, well, that's that guy gone. You've got fucking Serrano and Brody living in this town. I love the fact, I'm just going to keep calling him Brody because it's easier. I love the fact that, they all look at each other. There's that great bar sequence between Serrano and Brody where they're conversing like, you don't really belong here. Well, neither do you. Why are you here for? Nothing. What are you here for? Nothing. And I'm like, this, you couldn't be any more fucking dodgy, could you? Everybody else in the bar are all friendly and nice.
Yeah,
they're all
yeah.
chatting. They're locals. They live there. They've lived there all this time. And these 4 gentlemen look so out of place.
Yeah. Yeah, fate has brought the 4 of them together.
Yes.
But, things are about to get worse for these characters, especially Roy Scheider, who is captured by the local police enforcement.
Yeah.
And they start questioning his papers, and they call him fake.
Yeah.
He's got fake passport.
Yeah, you don't look like you were born here. You don't look like no Dominguez. I'm like, ooh, you're in trouble.
And we also cut to a company who is farming oil.
Yeah.
And something goes wrong. And we watch this ginormous fiery explosion. We watch all of the shacks explode. We see people getting set on fire. Mm-hmm. And there's a giant disaster.
Yeah.
We then see those trucks transporting the bodies back into the town.
Great sequence, yeah.
That was it was a really great
fantastic
sequence. Now, this is a PG movie, but when they pull that tarpaulin back and you see that black body with the eye just staring out, I was like, that's not a PG movie.
Weirdly enough, I looked at that and I was like, special effect looks really kind of crappy. I thought that for a second, but what really changed the whole aspect of the sequence for me was the trucks have come in, the villagers are going crazy.
Yeah.
And as soon as he pulls that tarpaulin back, everybody quiets down.
Yeah, the shock. I think that helps deliver.
Oh yeah,
you know,
they
the
start.
punch,
They start pulling the bodies off, and immediately, like I said, the special effect thing went completely out of my mind. I was kind of enraptured of imagining what that must be like.
Yeah.
You know, William Friedkin had set up the background so well.
Yeah.
Especially with this little town, that when you're putting the bodies out, I wanted to know who these people were. Were the villagers going to be able to recognize them? You know, they just wanted to bury them. I'm pretty sure they killed all those people on the trucks.
Yes. Oh yeah. Even the reinforcements that turned up later, it was just they all just got pulled apart.
They just got pulled apart. But the company man has spoken to his boss and basically said, "Look, you know, we need to do something about this." And the company boss is like, "Well, you need to cap it off. You need to send some explosives up there. But we can't get any professionals in, and we can't do anything with the insurance because actually we're here illegally."
So there's some nitroglycerin over there. Go help yourself to it.
Oh yeah.
So they go out there to have a look at it, and you know, and you see him go up to this rotten-looking box as he's prying open the planks, and and you know he pulls out the first bit and he reveals it, and he's like, "No, it's ruined." He's like, "It's unstable. No one's been out here to turn the boxes."
Yeah, all the nitroglycerin has seeped to the very bottom.
So he takes out just a little bit and just scrapes it off outside, and you hear the pop explosions.
Yeah,
and it's like, it's unstable. We can't use it. And so straight away they're like, well, maybe we'll airlift it.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, you can't. There's too much
turbulence from the helicopter.
Right.
Even if you hang it underneath, it's going to be swinging in the air. Something will set it off. Nobody's going to fly it. It's going to be a suicide mission. The only best way you could do it is 4 trucks and 4 guys who have like nothing left to lose. But this was the weird thing that threw me off as well, right? Was these 4 guys, our 4 main stars, they've all had hardships in their life and they've ran to this fucking village to escape. And yet they're stuck there. They want out.
Yeah.
I'm like, hang on a minute. So you just you did a bunch of shit and made your way to this fucking village. Now you're there.
Well, things didn't work out for them, so they fled there. Yeah.
Oh yeah. They fled there. That's. I get that. And I get the fact that they're fucking stuck there.
Yeah.
But now they're stuck there. They're like, oh, I want out. I'm like, duh. You know, what did you think when you were traveling over here? Like, oh, I'll be there for a couple of days and then I'll come back. No, you ain't never coming home.
Well, opportunity has come a knocking now.
Yes.
And the opportunity is to make a lot of money. Though they will be risking their lives to do it.
Yeah. What I loved about the nitroglycerin sequence was the film reminded me of Vertical Limit, which came out in the early 2000s, which is basically the kind of same concept as Wages of Fear and Sorcerer, where you know you got some people trapped on a mountain. The only way to get up there is to take some nitroglycerin and blow it up. But the nitroglycerin is unstable, and if you get in heat, blah blah blah, all that kind of stuff's going to happen. But while that guy's in the room with the nitro, it took me back to when they're in Vertical Limit and they're looking at the nitro and they're like, this stuff is completely unstable. And it just, you immediately, your bum kind of tenses like, ooh, we shouldn't be messing with that. Yes, but we need it. Yeah, but we shouldn't be messing with it. And so they start looking for volunteers. And I love you got that little whiskey bottle of water on the truck hood. And you've got them driving, and obviously it rattles all over the place. And if it rattles too much, then obviously the shit's going to explode. But you already know your 4 main characters are going to be fucking good drivers. But it's weird because Nilo, the hitman, he's in town for something, and you don't know why. But you know it's got to do something with whoever's on these trucks. So he kills Marquez and takes his place. And it's just like, you know, like I said, the film was so weirdly kind of put together by William Friedkin that I never knew the background for Marquez. I had no idea what he was doing. What was his relationship to Kasim? Why he was there? Nilo's just killed this motherfucker. Why was he even part of the movie? You know, you could have actually just had the 3 guys, Nilo turn up, and they go, well, we need a 4th driver.
I think that's part and parcel with the title of the film in Friedkin's eyes is that You know, it's the cruel hand of fate. You know, and the sorcerer is that magician. He's the one who controls fate, and you can't see him. And so, you know, you're just like, you're going along, you're doing your day, and bang, you're shot dead. You know, it's like you can't plan for it. And that is what fate had in store for him.
Now, I get that, but it's the fact that after that, we're dealing with the emotion of Kasim.
Yeah.
Right? Now, the Sorcerer of Fate, wherever the fuck he is, has got nothing to do with Kasim. I'm there with Kasim, and I'm questioning, why is Kasim so emotionally invested in this guy that he's willing on killing or attempting to kill a professional hitman over it? You know? Like I said, the film's like 2 hours long. I've still got like a fucking 45 minutes of this movie to go, but there's little speed bumps in the film that come along that I go, oh, I want to know about that. Oh, I want to know about that. Motherfucker film.
Vete a besar a la policía. No police. Vete a la policía. Hold it!
We just lost a driver. We need another one.
And so we do now get to one of my favourite sequences in the film, and that is the montage. Where they get these two banged up trucks out of the selection of rusted buckets that they've got just a few days, if that, to fix up and get on the road. And you see them putting in engines, putting on tires. You know, they've got to fix this thing up. And, you know, I love it right at the end, they've just got their paint.
They're
repainting it on. And of
Yeah.
course, one of the trucks is called Sorcerer.
Because just like the rest of the film, the title seems to have no real connection to the truck, which in a weird way is actually your main star, because the truck needs to get the nitroglycerin. The other four characters, you know, we could know everything about them, but really doesn't matter, you know, really doesn't. But they build those trucks and they get themselves ready and they get the backs all sorted with the nitro in, the sand all dumped up. You know, there's two per truck. You've got Nilo and Dominguez, or Brody, whichever one you want to call him, and you've got Serrano and Kasim heading out. Now, the film, for me, confused me at certain elements on this drive of if they were competing with each other or if they were attempting to help each other. You know, there's just certain moments where it seemed like both trucks were in it for themselves.
Well, it's because of that sequence where Brody, he explains, he's like, how much nitroglycerin have we both got? He was like, if we both get there, we've got enough nitroglycerin to destroy the entire field. Let alone just do the job. And so that was when he twigged. He was like, oh, we're not all supposed to make it. So it's kind of like first come, first blow up the oil field, get paid. And if the second truck gets there or not, it's like, well, the job's been done, so you don't get paid. So there was a suggested kind of competition between them.
But suggested not enough where you would actually go, these two guys. Because you've got Brody ahead, he's driving in his truck, the jungle sequences are amazing, the rain's coming down, it looks treacherous, it looks dangerous, and you're like, you don't want to be there.
And especially after that sequence you mentioned earlier where you saw them driving in that Jeep, which wasn't a banged up wreck.
No.
And they were bouncing in their seats,
all
Jim
over the
Carrey
place.
style.
Spectacular! This land holds great beauty.
But there's like a part where Serrano comes to like a corner bridge, and this thing is fucking unstable as shit. But there's a map slapped to it with "Good Luck Serrano" written on it. Now you don't see who put it there, but I assume it's Brody.
Right.
Because who else? No, the film hasn't given me any other suggestion that it could be anybody else. I don't know anybody who knows Serrano personally. If he's using that name.
I thought maybe someone from the oil company would have been out there and like gone across the path that they're going to take to leave them out.
That's a good suggestion, because obviously the oil well commander, he may have left that map there and then said good luck.
That was my guess.
Yeah, that's I didn't even think that. But the fact that Brody was already ahead at this point, I'm like, well, did he ignore it? Did he even go that way? You know, are there multiple paths? You don't know. You know, you have that sequence where they're driving along, you see the villager you know, the tribesman, and he just starts mocking them, running along with them, jumping on
He
the
has
bike.
no idea what they're doing. He's just having fun. But, you know, on a normal day, you'd be like, that's quite funny.
Yeah.
But on this day, you're like, get the fuck out of the road, you fucking idiot! Like,
Yo, we're gonna fucking explode at any point!
you really feel the tension in the weight at that point with these drivers. That like, their lives are like literally one bump away.
I think it's the setting as well. Like, I'm not too sure about Wages of Fear. I think that's set in a hot country as well. But definitely Sorcerer was filmed in Ecuador. And Vertical Limit was filmed on top of a cold mountain. So, like with Sorcerer, they're sweating. The sweat rolls down the hood because they're so hot. But then when they're sat behind a truck,
They're sweating.
They're fucking sweating.
Yeah.
And so you sweat with them. You're like, oh, okay. You know, I don't really want to be here. The sequence where Serrano and Kasim are going across their little corner bridge, you know, Serrano's like, you're driving, and Kasim's like, fuck off.
I'm guiding, you're driving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, you just see those you see the rope giving on the wooden planks. You can see that they've been rotted away. And then the moment that tire falls through the gap, you're just like, jeez.
Yeah. You're like, fuck.
It didn't explode. And then he comes over and he looks at it and he's like, yeah, keep coming. Keep coming. And you're like, what?
Yep, slapping the first and just out that hole. But they come to a fork in the middle of the road. And like I said, I was really confused about the competitiveness between these two guys, especially at this section. Because Dominguez is about to go down the right path. And Serrano comes along to him and says, no, you're going down the wrong path. And Dominguez says, this will take us on the high ground. Where you want to go will take us through the swamp, which is the low ground. And they kind of have a bit of a bicker. But then it doesn't fully explain if they actually came to an agreement. It just cuts back to the trucks. Brody is in his truck driving along, and he comes to this rickety ass bridge of fucking death.
This is the wrong road!
There's no way that truck's going across that bridge. You can't even see the other side. It's so hostile.
The rain, the wind, everything is just lashing down.
This entire sequence for me is the standout part of the entire film. You know, this scene makes the entire film for me.
The way the truck leans.
Exactly. Every time that bridge shakes left to right and that truck is leaning, I'm like, it's gone. Like, it's going to explode.
Yeah.
It's just going to fall into the water, and it doesn't. And you're like, what's keeping it there?
Yeah, well, what kept getting me as well was the special effect of it. I'm like, how are they doing that? That's some really good CGI work there. 1977. That's not CGI work there.
That's some really great miniatures. No, wait, that's not a miniature.
That's not a miniature. Oh my fucking god, this is brilliant practical effect.
Yeah, and again, this is one of the reasons why the budget ballooned on the making of this film.
Yeah.
Just like with the car stunt earlier in the film, which Friedkin couldn't get right, disaster struck the set when they went and built this set. They spent $1 million building this rope bridge over this river.
Yeah.
And then once they'd built the set and got ready to do filming, the river dried up. This river has never dried up, ever. And it's gone. So they're looking there like, we've built this $1 million bridge for this sequence. Pack it up. We're going to go over here now, and we're going to rebuild that entire bridge. And when they got there spent another $1 million and rebuilt this bridge, the river dried up.
It was the devil. The devil came from Exodus like, I'm still here!
That's what the people of the town thought. They were like, you've come here and you've destroyed our river. And they almost destroyed, you know, the film set. They almost attacked the film crew because, you know, because of their superstitions. and so Friedkin was like losing his mind. He was like, okay, so we're gonna have to film this sequence to trick the audience to believing that it is a raging river underneath.
Yeah.
So he called in helicopters to be flying overhead.
Really?
Because of the splashing that they would make from. They also had giant wind engines, and they had people with water hoses to give the effect that this was a torrenting, horrible, nasty river that would kill you if you fell into it, when really it was as shallow as ankle deep almost.
Oh, fuck me. I believed it.
Yeah, and so that is just how well the sequence was filmed. They spent months filming this sequence
Yeah.
as well. And of course, you know, the bridge was actually a lot safer than it does look in the film with hydraulics
Yeah.
and everything else.
Yeah.
But that didn't also stop more than 7 trucks actually falling into the river when they were filming it. So it's like, in reality, yes, the truck would go over.
It would go, yeah.
But, you know...
But this is what threw me, because once Dominguez gets over across the river, Serrano then comes down and he has to get across the river. And I kept thinking, hold on, you've just come from a fork in the road. I can only assume that Dominguez went right and Serrano went left, but both paths lead to this one bridge.
Yeah.
You know, but like I said, the film didn't fully explain that to me, that they'd argued and separated, you know, or argued and reconciled to go one way. But they both end up at the bridge, and it's also Serrano and Kasim's turn to get across.
I thought they were fucked.
Oh, yeah,
I'm like, we've seen the damage that the
Yeah.
bridge took with the first truck going across. I was like, there's no way this one's getting across as well.
I had no problems believing that Brody was going to live, because I knew he had to fight a shark in a couple of years. So he was going to get through this.
He's already killed us. Oh, wait.
Yeah, time travel. Yeah, but the fact as well, you know, that I'm watching Serrano and Kasim get across, and Kasim had already looked really nervous driving the truck, so he doesn't want to drive the truck. He wants to be on the bridge helping Serrano, but the bridge is so fucking dangerous. Kasim falls through it. I thought I loved that sequence. He fell through, and and when he hit the water, the audio was just silent.
Yeah,
and
dropped,
I'm like, fuck, he's dead. And then when you see him pull himself out, but you see Serrano like, I can't see you, I can't see you, and he's driving closer and closer to Kasim. I'm like, fucking stop. And then the branch, the big tree hit them. That shit me up as well.
Me too. I'm just like, Mother Nature just did not want this truck going across.
No.
You were not meant to. But sheer willpower and determination, you see them get to the other side, and they pull the
winch over.
They pull the winch out of the truck, and he takes it over and he wraps it around the tree, and you see the tree like, sliding in the mud. It was like, they're dead. Like, they are not getting across. And then, you know, you see the truck, it's trying to get up the last part of the bridge, and it just hard cuts.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, they're gone. Like, that's it. We're never seeing them again.
Yeah. We cut to Dominguez and Nilo, and they've come across a broken down log in the middle of the path.
You know?
I loved Nilo. Sorry to interrupt. I loved Nilo. The fact that he looked so well manicured at the start, and now he's a sweaty mess.
Yeah.
And he sees this log and goes, "Ha! Well, we're fucked."
Yeah. No, you'd probably react either way, wouldn't you? You would be like Brody, just smacking the ground, just like, there's no way you're getting past this. That's like one of the biggest trees you've ever seen in your life. You know, and you can feel the frustration because they were only counting how much money they were going to make. You know, earlier, and they just got over that bridge. It was like, if they can get over that bridge, they can get past anything.
Yeah.
And you see him pull out the machete, and he's just like, he starts trying to cut a path around it.
Yeah, and it's never going to happen. But the other truck turns up, and...
Well, actually, you don't see the other truck. You just see the two of them.
Oh, yeah,
approaching.
you just see the two
and
of
I
them
was like, oh, wow,
approaching.
so they survived, but the truck...
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
I was like... Also, for a second, I thought they were ghosts. It was like, here's the dead bodies, you know? But Kasim, obviously being a bomb maker, knows that he can clear this path without damaging the ground. And I thought this sequence was absolutely fucking brilliant. You know, him working out the pulley weight for the rock, you know, hitting the stone.
The sandbag in the
sandbag.
thing, yeah.
Oh, yeah, cutting the pocket as well. It's going to be perfect. You know, the wood, you know, he's tapping the wood, so he knows that obviously if he puts it in a certain position, it will explode and clear, you know. But it's the fact as well that they take the nitro over and they put the nitro onto the tree, and everybody else legs it to move the trucks away because they have to. And Kasim is there, and he just kind of gently just pokes a hole in the bottom of the bag.
Yeah, that's like this timer
Yeah.
as he runs away.
As he runs down, and but then he cuts the hole in the bag of the pocket.
Yeah.
So obviously that's the proper timer ready to hit the nitroglycerin, and it's just like,
Yeah. Now, this again was another one of those moments where Friedkin had this, you know, he had his special effects expert there, and they did the explosion, and then the tree was still there. And so, okay, let's set it up again, and nope, and the tree is still there. Right, we need an expert. So they flew in. It took them 3 days to fly in a known arsonist from New York who had a reputation for blowing shit up. And they got him in there, and he was looked at this tree, and he was like, okay, we'll do this. That tree was gone.
Fucking gone.
That was one hell of an explosion.
Oh yeah, well, look how much nitro fucking glycerine he used.
Wow.
That's what got me thinking as well. Because after I saw the sequence, I'm like, they didn't do it just stupidly and just walk the dynamite up, stick it at the base of the tree and blow it up, because that would have blown a massive hole in the ground.
Yeah.
Kasim finding the perfect
controlled explosion.
Yeah, knowing that the tree would take the full force of the explosion but keep the road flat. The only thing they really have to do is get everything back. And it's when they came back and looked at the little set that was made, I was like, this actually looks more beautiful than what it was before. So good job, guys. You've got it looks really
nice clearing.
Yeah, that's quite magical now. Fucking tree was dead anyway, Gary. Shut the fuck up.
Well, they're on the home stretch now.
Oh, yeah.
They've literally just got to go down this road,
Yeah.
and then they'll arrive at the oil field.
Nothing could happen, could it?
Well, cruel fate. A burst tyre, and that's it.
That's it for Serrano.
They go off the edge, and the truck just explodes, as you'd imagine, as all the crates at the back fly to the front. And
it's such a shame as well, because I'm behind Roy Scheider at this point, because he's my main guy. I don't really care about Nilo, because he's there for some nefarious, suspicious scheme, and I know he's going to die at some point. But I was really getting behind Serrano. I know he was a bit of a douchebag.
He's a terrorist.
No, Kasim was the terrorist.
Yeah.
Serrano was the fraudster.
Yeah.
But it was the fact that it was like the little bits that got his character building up. Like, as soon as he'd left France and he's in the town and he's asking for eggs, he's still trying to be kind of suave with his food. He's looking at that little waitress. How old was that waitress? And it looked like everybody wanted to fuck her. I'm telling you, because it's the way Serrano looked at her like, and she's like, no teeth in her mouth. I mean, even Roy Scheider dances right at the end. That woman's a hottie. But he's handed that letter to that oil guy, to his wife, and said, look, if I don't make it, can you post this? He's sat in the van with Kasim, and they're talking about Paris and what they're going to do, and you're really getting behind them, and then pop, and they fall over the ledge, and boom, and you're like, fuck.
Yeah, you're right, you really are. Devastated for them. You've been with them this whole journey.
Yeah.
Like that rope bridge, get past that tree.
It's so shocking that when Dominguez and Nilo drive past, the film doesn't shy away from showing you the devastation. Like, there's the truck. That's what's going to happen to you if you fuck up. And you're like, well, I really hope they don't fuck up. And they get pulled over by rebels.
Yeah.
Fucking rebels. I'm like, oh, what? Anything? The tree was a worse situation than this fucking situation. These guys, fuck off, Right. But the rebels are like, oh, well, we need the truck for food. And then they're like, who's going to drive? Well, you're an okay driver. Oh, yeah, okay.
But, they tell them that there's just supplies.
Yeah.
Just supplies.
Just supplies.
And, you have no idea how the situation is going to play out, because they keep telling, they're talking amongst themselves and it's subtitled. And it's like, they're just going to get killed out on the road. They're just going to take them away and kill them.
Well, I know Nilo was setting up to do something, because he's not getting out of the truck. Mm-hmm. He's a professional killer. Yeah. He's got to be armed.
And yes.
And the film hasn't told you this, but I kind of felt like he was going to kill Dominguez when he got the chance.
Yes, for all the money himself.
So he had the gun. But it's just such a brilliant sequence. They open fire. Nilo kills 3 guys on his own, but gets seriously wounded. Himself. And fucking Brody takes a shovel and beats the other guy to death. And he grabs. He didn't have to. Which is what is brilliant about the film. Getting these characters together. He didn't have to pick up Nilo's body. He could have just left him there. But he's like, no,
we're a team now.
We're a team. We're in this together. You fucking saved my life. And he pulls him into the truck, and they start driving through this rocky section of the world. It looked like he was on an alien planet, like far from the jungle that we just come from. You know, you got all these weird rocks, and Brody just starts going through this madness.
Yeah, insanity has taken hold of him.
Yeah.
The stress. Yeah.
He's hearing Nilo laugh. He's having flashbacks of conversations he's had. He has no idea where he is. He's losing it. He loses it so much that he hears Nilo laugh when he's actually dead and pulls him out of the truck to get rid of the body, but can still hear the laughter.
Yeah.
He tries to start the truck, and the truck won't start.
Oh, he runs out of gas.
Yeah.
Literally just a mile away from the destination.
That's it.
He literally has to take the nitroglycerin and just walk it to the finishing line.
Yeah, the way he walks out of that darkness.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, the screen's gone black. It's gonna come back in a minute, and then all of a sudden I just see this figure stumbling with this box. Now I'm like, oh, it's not. It's him in the darkness. And the way it looks like he's walking towards this massive flaming tower. And he's so gone in the head. If these guys do not stop him, he is walking straight into it with the explosion.
Yeah.
You know? It's brilliantly set up, the ending as well, that they obviously they get the explosives, you know, they take Dominguez back to the town. He looks clean, shaven, you know, he's had a bit of a rest. They hand him the money and he's like, what the fuck is this? This is a check. I can't do anything with this. And the guy's like, no, it's fine. You know, if you go to this town, you can do this, you can do that. And he looks like he's really lost his friends. Like those were like the last real friends he had. Mm-hmm. You know, he's seen death and devastation, that he's lost it. And he doesn't really know what to do with himself anymore. You know?
It's quite an experience he's been through.
Yeah, he was so wanting to get home, but now he just wants to dance with that hottie barmaid, you know, while she cleans the floor.
And he's just celebrating the fact that he's still alive.
Doesn't look like he's celebrating. He's just like, he's just fucking dancing for her, like. But he gets given that fucking letter. The letter that Serrano gave to the oil guy gives it to Brody and says, here's the letter. You know, maybe you can post it. And as the film ends, we watch a fucking taxi pull up to the bar. And Brody's associate from the beginning of the movie, who gave him the town to go to, has brought a hitman from the mafia boss to the town. And the two of them walk into the bar. And that's where the film ends.
Cruel fate.
Like, wow, what a fucking experience.
Yeah, it truly is.
Yeah.
Most memorable moments from the film, Iain?
Oh man, you know, there were, for me, the 4 vignettes at the beginning are absolutely brilliant. You know, they set up the film. The film could be about fucking anything, but these 4 opening set pieces set up these 4 guys, and they're so well filmed, and the acting is so on point that I was just so enthralled. Like I said, that one image of Roy Scheider running down the street, heavily injured, while the cops turn up at his car, was a sequence I caught late one night, and I had no idea what the fuck was going on.
Right.
But it got me so good that my body wanted to know what everything else happened around it. And I always knew, like, after seeing, I'm so glad I've seen this film now, because this film had just been a plague in my fucking life. It just kept appearing at different points, like, watch me, and I'm like, I will. I'm trying. I love all the cinematography, the setup of the town, you know, stuff. The way William Friedkin films, The Exorcist, I can't remember if he does it in that or not, but it's like, there's a shot in Sorcerer where the camera's focused on a guy's machete, and then it comes up to the guy's face, and then it cuts to something else, to like a guy, I don't know, plucking chickens, you know, and it cuts to Brody just sitting somewhere. You know, it's just like, look at this town. This is how people live. These actually exist. This isn't a set piece. This is actually a place that we just filmed. You know, Serrano sitting in the bar, just kind of chilling, having his moment. You know, everything when they get in the trucks towards the oil well is absolutely brilliant. But that's the main focus point of the film.
Yeah.
You know, if that wasn't good, the rest of it wouldn't work. But because the rest of it is already really, really good, you know, that this truck sequence, you're actually relieved to be on the truck sequence with them because you're like, oh, well, I know what this film's about now. But then as the truck sequences happen, you're like, I'm so scared. You know? And yeah, so I don't know if there's any more you can pick out from what I've just picked up.
No, literally, yeah. I love the town sequence when they brought the bodies back.
Yes,
that,
yeah,
that
that's
for me
brilliant
really
sequence,
just helped ground the location that they were in.
Yeah, yeah.
Also the bar sequence as well, when he's just sat there, just the humidity of the place.
Yeah.
You know, it just felt oppressive. And so the choice of location for filming was fantastic. All of the jungle sequences are phenomenal. You know, they're really well captured. And originally, obviously, they filmed it, and then when they were editing it, and Friedkin looked at the dailies and just went, "This is awful," and ended up firing the cinema photographer. And hiring another one, and then changing the lenses, and then going back up there and refilming it all over again. You know, it was worth it. Well, Friedkin got given the nicknames Hurricane Billy, I think, after this film because of the amount of tantrums he had, and the amount of tantrums that Roy Scheider had whilst making it. You know, the two of them fell out over making it.
Yeah.
But some of the imagery that they've captured on film is fantastic. Now, the sequence to talk about in this film is the rope bridge sequence.
Yeah.
I find it really hard to think of another sequence in the whole of film that has the same amount of tension and sustains it for as long a period of time as this entire sequence.
I've got one. Indiana Jones rope sequence from Temple of Doom.
It's not as long as this sequence.
Well, when they're climbing up and you got the alligators.
No, this sequence still it tops that easily. It really does. It's captivating. It is edge of your seat stuff, and I haven't had an edge of your seat experience in an action movie in such a long time that when it was literally just a simplistic thing as getting across a bridge, you know, whereas in action movies today it's nothing quite like that.
Yeah, there'd be like helicopters coming down, the cars would be driving like 500 miles per hour, it'd be all over the top.
Yeah.
But going like 3 miles per hour.
So believable, so realistic. It was like a disaster movie.
And knowing all of the stuff that they put in the background to just make it work, that makes that sequence even so much more fucking special.
Absolutely, yeah.
You know?
And you know, I love the montage of repairing those trucks.
Yeah,
you know, seeing the lineup of battered trucks, and it's like you can imagine walking past them like, nope, fuck nope, I'm gonna die in that thing. Well, maybe this one will get me through.
That's not even got any tires.
Exactly. We'll drag it.
Yeah, we'll drag it.
But you know, that was the moment that, you know, literally deciding on which truck to take would determine whether they made it or not.
They should make a mobile app game called Sorcerer where you pick the trucks. You have to get across both roads. It'd be great.
I'm sure it exists. So do you recommend Sorcerer, Iain?
I totally recommend Sorcerer. At the same time, I've always wanted to watch The Wages of Fear. Because I always just really love the concept. So for me, personally, I recommend Sorcerer. I also, if you get a chance, I recommend The Wages of Fear. And I also recommend Vertical Limit, because all three of them have the same kind of concept. You know, and all of them do them individually their own way really, really well. They don't, for me personally, they don't overshadow each other, or you should watch one over the other.
I'm just going to say it now, Iain. I think Vertical Limit is awful. I think it's
awful, I'm not film. Even. Yeah, that's why I wasn't even talking to you about this. That's why I'm talking to the audience.
I have to respond because you're putting Vertical Limit on the same plateau as Sorcerer.
Yeah, don't start. Don't start. No. You can do your bit.
Okay, I just needed to say it.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. Sorcerer is really, really good, though. You know, like we said, you know, Roy Scheider is not a well-known, massive, huge A-list star, but that's what works for him. For me, he is always a big star. He's been in my life so much between Jaws.
He's always Chief Brody.
He's always Chief Brody. He's always fucking on the captain of the Sequest DSV. You know, he still fucking flies that fucking helicopter, Blue Thunder. You know, there is a load of films that he's been in that are forgotten gems that when you watch them and you've never watched them before, you go, wow, how the fuck did how? You know? I loved Bruno Cremer as Serrano, the Frenchman. I actually thought he was better than Brody, but they worked so brilliantly together that they worked so well. Yeah. Nilo and Kasim, you know, they're great background characters, but the way that the film works them, you don't know anything, so you don't need to know anything. You just need to go. Going back to what I was originally saying about Wages of Fear and Vertical Limit and Sorcerer, all three of them are really tense, action-packed films, and they all do it very differently. I personally recommend all three of them if you ever get the chance to watch them, because regardless of story, background, way they're filmed, all of that, you just want a tense, action-orientated movie, and you can't go wrong with Sorcerer.
Hell yeah. There's one other thing I want to bring up as well, and that's Tangerine Dream.
Okay.
They did the soundtrack for the film, it's used pretty sparingly.
Yeah.
You know, they only really bring in the music when it needs to, but that also really helped capture those tense moments when they're going across the bridge in the middle of that storm.
Yeah.
And you hear Tangerine Dream kick in. It's just like, it has that. You know, you can see it has influence on John Carpenter, Tangerine Dream.
Yeah.
The same sort of musical, synthesized sort of rock music as well. But really, just it didn't detract. It didn't take you out of the experience of the film when you didn't even realize the music was there.
Yeah, I didn't.
It just blended in perfectly.
I mainly heard it when it came up at the end, and the title Sorcerer just kind of appeared, and the film was over. I was like, whoa.
Yeah. Very, very, very good. Very talented group. No surprise, I think, that I'm going to be recommending Sorcerer. I highly recommend it. If you're a fan of cinema, then this is a must-watch. It's a cinematic masterpiece with incredibly tight direction, perfect cinema photography. The tension is palpable as these four criminals transport highly explosive materials across an inhospitable landscape. It might be slow to begin with, but it's well worth your investment. Roy Scheider is great, and he carries his scenes incredibly well. The music, which is used sparsely, it creates great tension and it establishes the mood and atmosphere perfectly. This is a truly gripping action, edge-of-your-seat thriller, and is an absolute must-watch. Thanks for watching Off the Shelf Reviews.